So today we will be doing lesson 3.5. It's about solving equations and inequalities. The first part that we will start with is how do we solve equations algebraically and graphically. And we will use for the explanation GeoGebra, but you know that you will be using your graphic calculator during any assessment. So let's start first. How do we solve equation algebraically? But before starting to talk about how to solve it algebraically, we need to understand the meaning of solving an equation. What does it mean? I'm solving this equation equal to zero. I am solving this equation equal to zero. It means I'm trying to find what are the values of x that makes this equation equal to zero. Or in another way, I need to find the values of x that if I replace it here in this equation, it should be equal to zero. And we know since grade 9, so when I need to solve any equation equal to zero, it should be in the factorized form. So my first objective to solve algebraically this equation equal to zero, I need to factorize this polynomial. How we will factorize it? Already we saw that in the preceding lesson. So we have many methods to factorize it. I can, for example, find the multiple of 6 and replace to see which one is a root. So if I look at the multiple of 6, for example, I have 1 minus 1, 2 minus 2. If I replace by 1 minus 7 is minus 6 plus 6, 0, it means 1 is a root. So I can use syntactic division to divide, and it will become x3 becomes x squared, and then you use delta to find the other two roots. Also, I can either do this one by, for example, splitting minus 7x to minus x minus 6x, and then we factorize by grouping. So we have many methods to factorize this polynomial. So if I want to use the splitting or separating, because I didn't do it in the preceding lesson. So I will split minus 7x, and you know already how to do the synthetic division to do the factorization. So if I split, so I have here x3, I have minus x minus 6x plus 6 is equal to 0. So if I will group those, I will factorize by grouping. So what is the common factor between x3 and minus x? So it's x, factor of x squared minus 1. And here I have minus 6 factor of x minus 1 is equal to 0. And now x squared minus 1, I can also factorize it. It's an identity. This is a squared minus b squared. So, and how do we factorize a squared minus b squared? It's a minus b, a plus b. So I will have here, it's x factor of x minus 1, x plus 1 minus 6, x minus 1. And now I can see easily a visible factor between the first term and the second term. This is x minus 1. So I will have x minus 1 factor of, from the first part, I still have x times x plus 1 minus 6 is equal to 0. Sorry. I can develop now here this expression. So it will be x minus 1, x squared plus x minus 6 is equal to 0. And also, guys, you know how to factorize this one using delta. And this one will give me two roots, which will give me 2 and minus 3. So it means I can factorize it by saying it's x minus 1 factor of x minus 2 factor of x plus 3. And also, you know, delta from the preceding chapters equal to 0. And now I was able to factorize this polynomial. So I have three factors. So, and we know that a product is equal to 0 and one of the roots is 0. So to have this product 0, I have x minus 1 is 0, or this is 0, or this is 0. So if I continue solving here, so I can write uh, x minus 1 is equal to 0, or x minus 2 is equal to 0, or x plus 3 is equal to 0. And this one will give me x equal to 1. This is the first root. X equal to 2. This is my second one. And x equal to minus 3. This is my third one. This is the method of solving algebraically polynomial. But it will have more a huge meaning when you will see that this graphically. How are we gonna solve this polynomial graphically? So what I need to do is you need to just graph this function x squared minus 7x plus 6 equals 0. But when I say this is equal to 0, this polynomial represents y. So if I want to go to part B, if I'm doing it graphically now, this one. So when I say x squared, it's very important to understand this. When I say x3 minus 7x plus 6 is equal to 0, this is the function that we call it y, or also we call it f of x. So what does it mean y is equal to 0, f of x equal to 0? When you are graphing, where are the points where y is equal to 0? The points where y equal to 0 are all the points here on the x-axis. So in another way, as I need to find the points of intersection of the function with x prime or x. So if I will graph this function, I'm going to have this form. So this is x3 minus 7x plus 6. And if I look at this one, where are the points that have an ordinate equal to 0? Where are the points when y is equal to 0? The points are the intersection with x prime y. What are the abscissa of those points? This point is, if I want to read, this is minus 3, 0, this point. This point is 1, 0, and this point is 2, 0. It means, what are the values of x that make this function is equal to 0? I have x is equal minus 3, I have x is equal to 2, and I have x equal to 1. Those are called the roots, or also we can call it the zeros. Those are the zeros. Those are the points of intersection of the function with x prime or x. If I replace x by minus 3 or 2 or 1 in the function here in the equation, the expression, the answer is 0. And I can double check my work. Look, I got minus 3, 2, 1, and here I got in the preceding one minus 3 to 1, so my work is right. This is the way how do we solve an equation. How do we solve equation uh, algebraically and graphically? Now we're gonna move to, you can write here a algebraically. This is what we did, okay? And now B we did graphically. Now we're gonna move to how do we solve an inequality, okay? So to solve inequalities, I will, sorry, right here. So how do we solve inequalities? And also we will solve inequalities by two methods. We will solve it graphically and we will solve it algebraically. So first I will write the equation. So let's write it, the inequality. So I have to graph out to solve x3 plus 4x squared plus x minus 6 positive. If I'm talking about positive, it means I want to see what are the values of x that gives me a positive answer if I replace it here. So I need to go back to, like, I need to do exactly the same as I did before. I need to first factorize, and then I need to solve it equal to 0 to find the point, the 0 point, the point that they don't have any sign, the point that gives me a sign, there is no sign, it's the 0 point, and then I will see which point will give me a negative and a positive answer. So to be able to do that, all what do we need to do first? I need to factorize it, as we said, and to find the root. Also to factorize it, I either do the synthetic division. So if I check the divisor of 6, I have 1, and then I do the synthetic division. So I will write directly the answer because I already did in the previous lesson. So the answer is x plus 2 factor of x squared plus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. So if I do the synthetic division, divide by minus 2. And then I can either keep it like this, because already also you know in the preceding chapter how to find the sign of a quadratic equation. So I don't need to factorize this one more. So we know when delta is positive, I will have two roots, same opposite sign. When delta is negative, no real roots, it's same sign as A. And when delta is equal to 0, double root, also same sign as A. So all what we need to do is to put the table of sign. The roots of x squared plus 2x minus 3, I have two roots. I have x equal to 1 and I have x equal to minus 3. So those are the roots of this quadratic equation. And now I just need to put the roots in order. So we put the roots in order. So I have minus 3. Here it's minus 2. This one it gives me x equal minus 2. And here is minus 2. And here is 1. I have x, we need to put minus infinity plus infinity. So I have the first factor is x plus 2. I have the second one, I hope that I'll be able to write here. I have this is x squared plus 2x minus 3. I'm sorry for my handwriting, but it's okay. I hope that you can see that. Okay, excellent. So x plus 2, if I replace x plus 2 by minus 2, it will give me a 0. Now, before it's opposite as A, or I can even replace. If you replace by minus, it give me a negative answer, minus plus plus. Roots for this one are minus 3 and 1. That's it. We have same, opposite, same. And then I have minus times plus, it's minus. Number times 0, 0. Minus times minus, it's plus. 0 times a number gives me 0. Plus times minus, minus. Number times 0 is 0. Plus times plus, plus. Which part they need? I need the positive part. It's strictly positive. So I don't need the value that gives me 0. So where are the strictly positive part? It's here and here. So what will be the solution? I can write x belongs to the interval minus 3 minus 2 union 1 plus infinity. And how can I check if what I did here is also right? By doing this graphically. So or what we need to do now, we graph it on GeoGebra or on the calculator. So I have it already here. It's ready. It's here. Let's move. Not here. That's it. So if I look at this is the graph. When I say bigger than 0 positive, it means it should be y should be above the x prime x, because any point that you take on from on this part or from this part to this part, all those points they have y is positive. So it means x should belongs to minus 3 minus 2 union 1 plus infinity. Now, if it was, for example, x3 plus 4x squared plus x minus 6 bigger or equal than 0, we need to close on the roots. So because I need the point that gives me 0, so I should write the answer minus 3 included, minus 2 included, union 1 and plus infinity. You know that we cannot close on plus infinity. And if it was less than 0, so it means I need the negative part, and I need all the parts less than under x prime or x. So all this part. So how we gonna write the interval? It will be x between all the time we start from left to right. It's minus infinity minus 3 union. Now here it's positive, minus 2 1 union, and that's it. Minus 2 1, there is nothing there, and that's it. And I can also, you can double check this work from the table. If you go back here to the table, that's it. It's minus infinity minus 3 union minus 2 1. That's it. This is all what we are doing in this lesson. I just want to switch those two. And we will be doing, I will record another video for solving two functions, comparing two functions. How do we solve it in different methods?